Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate, or I go by Always More Sims here on YouTube, and today we are doing the second part of my speed build Emerald European. This is the furnishing of the house, and the house that I will be using later on in the current generation of my Disney Legacy Challenge, which is Princess and the Frog. Not gonna lie, I wish I kind of had a grander kitchen for Anna because she cooks so much, and I feel like this kitchen was definitely lacking, but it's kind of an odd shape. I didn't really know what to do with it. This probably would have made like a better now that I'm looking at the house, I think I probably should have put the living room where the kitchen is, put the kitchen where the dining room is, and the dining room where the living room is. But for some reason I was bound determined that this was going to be the kitchen. So the kitchen it is. This house has 5 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, an office, a nursery, there's a pool out back, there is a full-blown kids playground, and yeah, the master bedroom is the only one that is furnished though. Since I will be using this house myself, I eventually want to kind of decorate the bedrooms upstairs to match the kids that will be in them. And I also did not want to worry about furnishing all the bedrooms. At least I furnished the master, so I haven't been furnishing bedrooms at all recently. But yeah, I do have store content in this house. For the most part, I try and keep store content out of my houses so people can download them and not worry about missing store content. Only worrying about if they have all the expansion packs that I used. But I do have the baby swing. I have as we just saw, the bakery oven thing that I can bake all the pies and cobblers and stuff like that with. The crib I use in the nursery is store content. I'm trying to think if there's anything else really. I already said the baby swing. Did I use anything else? I don't think so. Maybe a little decoration here or there. I also forgot at the end to add trees. I totally meant to add trees. When you download the house, there will be trees, but I forgot to add them while I was still recording. So I went back in and put the trees down. There was something else I added, and now I don't remember what it was. I was like, oh, I forgot to do this. I didn't detail it very much. What I might do if I'm after my Sims move in and I see that I have enough money, I might go through and kind of detail it. But towards the end of this speed build, if you guys watched the first part, the building of the house itself, I kind of talked about how I've already built this house once. I got through with the entire shell of the house, was just getting to the landscaping and my game crashed. And I've talked about in some of my recent parts, just videos, that my computer, if you can hear it in the background, I apologize, because I was under the impression that this computer is 5 years old. I'm now aware that this computer is over a decade old, and it struggles with The Sims. With The Sims 3, I've noticed kind of over the year it just gets louder and louder as I play it. So I mean, knock on wood, hopefully it can hold out for me until I can afford to get, a fancier, newer computer. But it does sit here, and if I'm quiet, I'm sure you can kind of hear it. Whirring. Can you hear it? Kind of. When I play The Sims, that gets louder. And as I was building this house, the longer I was building, see, now it's kind of getting louder. But the longer I was building, the longer I was furnishing, the louder the computer was getting, and it was making me really nervous. When I finished just the shell of the house, I went out into world view, I saved, then I went back in and I kept going. But I was getting very paranoid by the end of by the end of the furnishing. And at the end of the furnishing is when I normally go through and I add all the little details and the miscellaneous stuff. And I was just hoping and praying I could get the base stuff down and get out before the game crashed, and I lost all of the furnishing that I had done. So it's not as decorated as I would have preferred. Like, when I was going back through taking screenshots, I'm like, oh, I should have put something there. I should have put something there. Like, this, like, plus sign looking wall. I'm behind what you guys are seeing. I'm always a little bit behind. So I think we've moved on by now. But by the stairs, there's that little, like, plus sign looking wall structure with, like, the columns and stuff. I'm like, I should have put plants in those corners, and I didn't. And I just, like, I'm looking at things, I'm like, I should have done this, I should have added this, I should have done this and this and this, and I didn't, because I was just wanting to get out and export the video, like, export the house and save before my game crashed, and I lost all of it, and I had to start the furnishing all over again. So I do apologize. When it's a house that I plan on playing in, I normally go a little more into detail with it. I try and add more, try and detail it more, put more plants, little knickknacks here and there. And I just didn't, because again, I was so paranoid I was going to lose it. So that's what I'm going to talk about for the house. What I want to talk about in this part. So in the last part, I did kind of talk about what's been going on with Mochi. I'm looking to get rid of my cat. Because I've been having some issues with him, and as much as I love him, my dad kind of told me, if you're not enjoying it, then he probably needs to find somewhere else to go. And honestly, I just haven't been enjoying owning a cat. I'm much more a dog person. I mean, I love cats. I love Mochi to pieces, don't get me wrong. I love my other cat, Dexter, but I'm much more of a dog person. I have a way higher tolerance with dogs. But the other night, if you guys know me at all, you will know that I am a single Pringle. I would love to be in a relationship, and that's when people, I've heard that, like, when you are actively seeking a relationship, it's probably not the best choice to be in one. But, like, I have all these friends that are getting boyfriends and girlfriends, and my brother is 15. He recently got a girlfriend. They actually broke up yesterday though, but anyways, like, just seeing that my 15-year-old loser of a brother, I'm sorry, that was mean, and my brother he's the kind of kid that thinks he's just all that. He just thinks he's super cool and everybody loves him, and I can't stand him, but, like, just kind of seeing that he has, a girlfriend, and I'll tell you my brother's age, I'm not telling you mine though, and I'm still like, I'm this old and I've never been in a relationship, and so I kind of get in these, like, little moods where I'm like, I want a boyfriend. I want someone who'll, like, snuggle with me and take me out on dates and, like, do that kind of stuff with. Like, I would love that so much. But I just, nope. I'm pretty sure guys look at me and they're like, we'll take a hard pass. Bye. But my next door neighbor just kind of up and texted me a couple nights ago. Let's see, it might have been New Year's Eve. No, it wasn't New Year's Eve. I think it was the 30th, maybe. She texts me and she's like, hey, Kate, I'm here with my coworkers and my boss, and I was wondering if you knew this guy. He goes to the same school you do, and, well, I'm kind of a matchmaker on the side, and I was wondering if you would like to get to know him, if you would like to meet him. And I'm like, I Facebook searched this guy, and I found him, but I didn't recognize him, and he was at my last school too, and I'm just like, I don't know who this guy is. I've never heard of him before. I'm not familiar, and I mean, at school we're all spread out to be socially distanced and stuff. So this past semester, I think I've known, like, maybe 2 or 3 people tops in my class, and it's just because they, like, sit next to me or something. Or, like, they sit at the table, like, 6 feet away from mine. And so I'm like, I kind of keep my head down. I don't really pay attention and interact with other people, and we have to be socially distanced and everything. And she's like, well, would you like to meet him? Would you like me to kind of set something up? And I'm like, would you, sorry. She's like, well, would you like to meet a 6'4" handsome young man? And I will say, I've always, if I ever date somebody, he has to be taller than me. I am not dating anybody shorter than me. He has to be at least an inch taller than me, or otherwise I'm sorry, it's not happening. I've always been like 6'3" is my like dream height. Okay, that came out. If you know that how much I love the Dream Team, Dream is actually 6'3", so that Dream's height is 6'3". No, but like my ideal, that's the word I was looking for. My ideal height is like 6'3", 6'2", 6'3". And I mean, I was looking at, the only thing I could see was his profile picture because he was on private, and I'm like, I'm not gonna just friend this guy out of the blue, and he doesn't really look like my kind of, like, So I immediately turn around and I FaceTime my friend Maddie. I'm like, Maddie, I don't know who this guy is. My neighbor is trying to set me up with this guy. And she's like, oh, I was in band with him. I know him. Like, he's kind of a jerk when he's with his friends. But when he's not with his friends, he's really nice. And I'm like, okay. And there was another girl that I used to go to school with, and like it said that she was like she was the one mutual friend he and I both had. And so I text her, I'm like, hey, do you know who this guy is? Like, my neighbor's trying to set me up with him and I don't know him. And she's like, it's more of like, I know a friend of a friend of a friend kind of thing, but from what I know, he's a nice guy. I'm like, oh, okay. So I text my parents and I'm like, my neighbor, like the neighbor is texting me that she wants to set me up with this guy. I don't know what I should do about it, because while I would love to have a boyfriend, it is not me to just be like, hey, yeah, set me up on some blind date. I'm gonna go meet some guy at my neighbor's house. That is not me. And my parents are like, yeah, you should go for it. You should do it. You should give it a try. So I text her back and I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, it's not really something I do, but yeah, why not? And I meant to come off as like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a try. And when I had, my mom and dad were asking the next night, they're like, so did you ever hear anything more about it? I'm like, no. She texted me back and she said, okay, what was it? Like, hold on, or something like that. Let me see. We're going to pull it up and look. Okay, stay tuned. Well, when I handed my parent, I'm like, you're going to read the messages. I don't really care. Like, this is what I said. And my dad went, wow, like, way to sound uninterested. Why not? I'm like, that's not what I was going for. I was going for, yeah, sure, I'll give it a try. And that was almost a week ago. And I have not heard back from her. So it's either that she took my message as, yeah, no, I mean, sure, I guess, which is not how it was intended. 2, she asked him, and he was like, heck to the no. I'm not interested in this freaky, weird chick. Or like 3, my parents like, oh, you just give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he just lives out of town or something. I'm like, that's just what I would need. If this would like actually like become something, is the first relationship, and it would be with somebody that doesn't live in town. That's just what I need. But yeah, I haven't heard back. And I don't think I will. If I'm gonna be, I was kind of like, when New Year's Eve came, like, my neighbors are known for throwing some like pretty big parties, and I was honestly expecting to get a text from her and say like, hey, so having this party tonight, he's gonna be here, why don't you go ahead and come on over and you can meet him. I was fully expecting her to do that, and I didn't get anything. I have not heard from her since. And while I'm like I see this guy, I'm like, he's not really my type. But at the same time, I'm like, well, I kind of got like excited that like this is something I don't do. I'm like branching out for once. Like, I was getting kind of excited because I'm just like, I'm trying something new. Like, look at me go. And then I don't hear anything. I'm like, great. Saw a picture of me and ran for the hills. I mean, why wouldn't you? I totally get it. But yeah. I haven't heard anything since. I'm not gonna reach out and be like, hey, so like what's going on with this, like meeting this guy, because I haven't heard from you, and I'm not gonna do that. If she texts me, she texts me. If she doesn't, she doesn't. Whatever. So yeah, that's what I really wanted to talk about. Oh, I mean, speaking of Dream, because I was kind of going on about him in my last in Midnight Modern, that he was going to do a face reveal, and I knew he wasn't. I knew he was fooling us, and sure enough, under the mask was another mask. He was holding that sign up, and then he moved it away, and it was, personally, I think it was a very poorly made mask. I was expecting something different, not gonna lie, but that's just more of like the like perfectionist artistic part of me that'd be like, no, if you're gonna look the part, you have to have the mask that matches the part too, because I felt like he kind of went all out for his outfit. But then I found out, because I was like, oh my gosh, he has something strapped across his chest, you know, just like how he's drawn. And then I was scrolling through TikTok, and somebody pointed out that what was strapped across his chest was a belt, and you can see the belt holes. He took a belt, put it through the loop, and put it across his chest. And I find that hilarious. And everybody's all like obsessed about the shoes he was wearing. He was wearing these old Nikes, and everybody was like freaking out about the shoes. And he even tweeted something on Twitter. He's like, you know, I post a picture of like myself dressed as like my character. Everybody else, what are those? And yeah, it's been really funny. I don't really understand why everybody's so concerned about his shoes. I would be making fun of the belt that he has strapped across his chest, but everybody's focused on the shoes, so I don't know. It was a lot of fun. I knew he wasn't gonna do the face reveal. I already knew it. I called it, but it was definitely fun. It was well hyped. Like, it got him trending on Twitter, I think, and then like you can see like a glimpse of his neck from his, like, between his sweatshirt and like the edge of the mask, and now everybody's like obsessed with the fact that they can see his neck. And one of the other like Minecraft YouTubers that he plays with goes, well, you guys can see my neck. Well, does that mean I can be trending on Twitter too? Because look, guys, you can see my neck. And that was funny. But oh, it looks like we're getting to the screenshots now, like any second. I thought it was funny, and there was something else I was gonna say, and now I don't remember what it was. But oh, I think the reason why his mask was the way it was, where it didn't really match him, is because he still doesn't want to give away anything about his face. But, oh well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. The download for the house will be in the description below, along with, it will also be in the description of the last part, along with my gaming channel. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye, guys.
Two lovers, forbidden from one another, a war divides their people, and the mountain divides them apart. Build a path to be together.